In cowboy hats. They mistake black man for suspect. Hunting black people, I guess. Black man in Eugene, Oregon, filed a federal lawsuit after a group of white armed vigilantes in cowboy hats mistook him for a suspect that tackled and pinned him down at an Oregon fair. Let's get into this. Black man in Eugene, Oregon, filed a federal civil rights lawsuit on Tuesday alleging he was racially profiled, assaulted, even detained at a county fair by vigilante volunteers with the local sheriff's civilian posse, who were armed and dressed like cowboys and suspected he was involved in a shooting the night before. So these appear to be throwback costumes they have on. And then it got real. Keviantae Kev Hill, age 20, at the time, lived in Portland, was in Eugene visiting two friends, July 22nd, 2023, when they decided to go to the Lane County Fair. Let's have some fun. Get some cotton candy, maybe. After checking out the horses, large animals, riding the Ferris wheel, noshing on that fair food. It's corn dogs, right? At fairs, they have corn dogs. I never did like those. Anyway, they had a good time. That's what the lawsuit says. The three took a break at his friend's house nearby for just a few hours. And then, soon after they re-entered the fair around 9:30 p.m., two men began following Hill in a golf cart, pointing flashlights at him and trying to get his attention by calling out, "Hey, excuse me," saying they needed to talk to him, the complaint says, but not identifying or explaining themselves. One grabbed his arm. Another placed his hand on a visible gun, prompting Hill to fear for his safety and to run back towards the fair's main entrance and through the parking lot. Jumped over a fence, continued fleeing on public streets. And you wonder why people run. Now, there had been a shooting at the fair the night before. Both the suspect and victim were still at large. Okay. Private security guards at the fair had relayed to members of the Lane County Sheriff's mounted posse that Hill may be their suspect. Posse consists of civilian volunteers. This is just straight out of Mississippi, Bernie. But this was Oregon, right? Civilian volunteers whose primary role that day was to help with parking cars. Now you've expanded authority. Now you're hunting a shooting suspect from the night before. Come on. They wear uniforms consisting of the cowboy attire, including blue jeans, cowboy hats, boots with spurs. The mounted posse members, who are deputized and supervised by the county sheriff's office, know who to sue. Two mounted posse members chased Hill. Hill has asthma. They chased him for several blocks using a golf cart to try to ram him in a church parking lot. The lawsuit says, as Hill began to have an asthma attack, they tackled him. They forced him face down to the ground. They knelt on his back and refused to let him sit up or change his position to breathe better for several minutes, despite the fact that he was gasping for air and saying the familiar, "I can't breathe." Hill vomited red fluid, begged the men to let him call someone. They refused, the lawsuit says. They did not call 911. They did not call for backup. They did not seek medical assistance. One of the men, defendant Steve Eggeret, finally took his knee off Hill's back when witnesses, including the mother of Hill's friend, arrived and demanded they stop the assault, while another began to video the incident with a phone. Lawsuit says the posse members contacted the Eugene Police Department during the incident and were told that Hill was not a suspect in the fair-related shooting and that police had no interest in detaining him. But the men persisted in restraining him. Got yourself a black. Might not want to let him go. He's done something, I'm sure. This is my color commentary to the story. They persisted. They photographed Hill without his consent, without providing any explanation for doing so. Hill, who was visibly shaking at this point, lost consciousness shortly after being released, according to the complaint, and continued to vomit and spit up blood 2 hours after the incident. Hill had no weapons, no criminal history, lawsuit says. Police report filed 3 days after the incident said Hill had no weapons when stopped. That from OregonLive.com. Trap also reported that the prior day's shooting involved several late teen young adults of black and white races, which the complaint notes was a vague description that could have applied to many thousands of other fairgoers that day. County dispatch records and police reports identified the suspect as a white man wearing a red hat. Oregon Live reported, noting that the only possible connection was that the shooting suspect was associated with a car seen carrying two other white men and a black man. Lawsuit accuses the Lane County Sheriff's Mounted Posse, the Lane County Fair Board, the county private security firm Iron Shield, 4 individual members of the posse of false arrest, excessive use of force, assault and battery, negligence, violations of the state's bias crime law by subjecting Mr. Hill to unlawful treatment because he is a black man. You'd almost think in these times it's lawful treatment. Kind of treatment is upheld too often. I want to get to the lawsuit, which often is the only means to get some semblance of justice, and it's not guaranteed. It's not, okay? Ask Breonna Taylor's mother about that. I understand they were deputized and they were supposed to park cars, but I don't understand. I want him to get his money that the taxpayers are going to have to fund. But I don't understand why these idiots, these volunteers on the posse aren't behind bars right now. They're a danger to the public. They're chasing people, a man, black man, using a golf court, attempting to do a pit maneuver is the only way I can describe it. They said they tried to, ram into him, kneeling, causing bodily harm. I just don't know what we're reporting so many of these. Maybe that's why people aren't more concerned and marching and in an uproar about this. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that in light of all the reports of police officers taking people's lives and things like that, I think this just kind of gets buried, and we're pretty desensitized to it. But this is, even though they were deputized, this is why vigilantism is against the law, because you can
That
get
part.
things wrong. You're supposed to leave it to the professionals, and the professionals often get it wrong. So you really shouldn't have this much faith in yourself, other than you're living some type of fantasy. And if it's like that, then go ahead and join the force for real. Like if this type of work really moves you, then you should be a police officer or a detective or something along those lines, not pretending to be on your spare time. And a man got hurt very unnecessarily, not just that, humiliated, degraded, and y'all got it wrong. And you're not even real police officers. You're not even real law enforcement agents in any type of way. So I think that this is definitely a very winnable case, and it's unfortunate that he had to go through this. But really all because, again, people are playing make believe.
And usually, part of their cat and mouse game, black people are generally the mouse. Okay. I joked with you as the producers were going over the stories, great producers on this show. And I said, boy, a black man, if I had a son, I wouldn't want him to leave the house. And it just hit me. I have a daughter and I worry about her, brown girl. If I had a son, he really would be on lockdown. And how is that fair? A chill went through me just now as I considered this and was listening to you, Jackson, that it's hunting season. When a parking attendant in a golf cart and some throwback uniforms, some of them on horsebacks, just start chasing a man. A white man's the suspect. And even after the police say, we don't have any interest in him, they still tried to act official and wouldn't really let him go. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, again, I mean, they're fulfilling a fantasy role. The black guys are the bad people, and we're supposed to stop them. They're always of suspicion, and it's our role to bring justice to our communities. But I mean, they were literally playing cops and robbers. That's what was going on, and unfortunately, a man got injured, and again, put in the spotlight in a way that he never really wanted to be. But if it's really that serious to you, then go join the force.
Yeah. Let me see if you can get through the academy, tough guy.